हेलो। 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 ठीक है।
Hello, hello everyone. On behalf of Vikram Sarabhai Library and Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad, I welcome you all for this our book talk program. So, for today's book talk, we have Mr. Vinay Solanki, PGPX alumni 2014-15 batch, and author of the book Confluence of AI and IoT, Marriage Made in Heaven. So, Mr. Vinay Solanki, a TEDx speaker and an angel investor. He has 20 years of extensive experience in business development, strategic planning, partnership, and technology management in diverse domains such as digital transformation, AI, IoT, Wi Fi, fintech, and trending technologies. Mr. Vinay is the founder of the world's third largest IoT community. It is IoT NCR. He is an exclusive senior IoT global think tank His profound insight have earned him global recognition as a top 20 thought leader in IoT and analytics by Thinkers 360. And he is acknowledged as a top 20 IoT thought leader by CBT USA. Currently, he is the business head at Nash Industries, a leading manufacturing service provider in India. He holds MS in Computer Science from the State University of New York, Binghamton, USA, and MBA from IIMA Ahmedabad. Now I request Mr. Vinay Solanki, please take over this session.
Hello, am I audible? Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm very glad that I sold one book before even starting the session. Thank you so much, sir. Really an important reader for me who wants to take a note. But I think let us start the session by hearing a bit of why I wrote this book, and then I have a specific agenda that we'll go through. So I think I'm already been introduced, so I will not talk much about myself, but I definitely for today and for the people who are viewing us on YouTube live, we have an author giveaway for 5 books. I will run a small quiz, a very basic quiz after the session. It's very easy, don't worry. It's more about just trying you to participate in it. But other than that, I have few additional books that I can offer at 40% discount today. And of course, if you want, you can also buy online. So it is available on Amazon, it is available on Flipkart, and it is also on Notion Press, which is one of the publisher that helped me. So I think this is already covered, but I think if I summarize my experience overall in the last 10 years, I call myself as someone who live, breathe, and eat IoT and digital transformation, because I've been working in this industry for close to now, I would say 13 years, when I was in US, and then when I came back for the PGPX program here. And I really felt back then, around 13 years back, that IoT and AI has a lot of potential to basically scale up as a technology worldwide. It has the right potential and the right mix and the recipe to make something possible for all us as human beings. So I will spend a few minutes telling you about IoT and AI in a very layman way. Of course, you are all people who are already pursuing, many of you are pursuing the program here in the campus. So you already would have heard this terminology before. Okay. Yeah, that was one of the recognition I got from Economics Times some time back, specifically in IoT, because I kept working on this and started a new business for one of the company I used to work, which is still going on. Additionally, I think this community that I run, which is called as AIoT Global Forum, it is a chapter which I started 8.5 years back along with 5 other people, and now we are 8,150 members strong. And our focus is mainly to do workshops and hands-on sessions on different application of IoT and AI. Okay. After COVID, we became a bit slower, but we are now restarting the chapters in Bangalore, where I belong to. But I think it is important for you to understand why I wrote this book and what is the journey that happened. So as I said, I've spent 10 years of building or selling digital transformation solution. I worked on both the buy side and the sell side. When I was in the sell side, like building a platform, I was working with Bharti Airtel and then Lenovo. And then of course, on the buy side, now I'm working in manufacturing industry for past 4.5 years. Currently, I work for a company called as Nash Industries. But before that, definitely what is important that when I've actually, IoT was like a love at first sight for me in 2012. This was when I got in touch with one of my friend in US. He was working for a company called as Ring. Ring actually makes the video doorbell. And then later Amazon bought them. They basically were launching this product in US market where they can monitor anyone visiting your door. Okay. And what was the use case? It was very simple. That in US, most of the people are out of the house during the daytime, right? They are nuclear families. So they wanted a way to ensure that when somebody comes to deliver a package at my door, can I monitor that remotely? That was a simple idea. They put a camera connected to the internet or to my Wi-Fi in the home. And then whenever somebody rings the bell, the video will start. You can see it on a mobile phone, and you can basically allow the access to put it in the Dropbox. Okay. That was the time I thought, wow, this is amazing. Like Why can't we think more about using IoT everywhere in the industry, right? Because this can revolutionize everything. And that's where I started thinking that what is really Internet of Things? That was the first thing I came to my mind. Maybe I can ask the audience here if somebody can define IoT.
Machines talking to machines.
Machine to machine, M to M. Right. So machine to machine is a precursor to IoT. Correct. Exactly. Absolutely true. So when two machines, they talk to each other to achieve something, which is a common task, that's called as M to M, right? And IoT is that you put internet into that machine, basically. Algorithms and then exactly. So if I'd say in a layman way, what is IoT? Right? We are humans, we all have eyes, ears, nose. So we all sense, right? We see, correct? When we see something, what happens in our brain? It is processed and then the brain tells us to take some action. Very simple, correct? A child who is basically growing up, if he sees a mug which is hot mug and a steam is coming out of the mug, the child will not most likely go and touch the mug, right? Probably. But the first time, second time, things will start building up in his brain, and probably after the education from the parents, the child will stop doing that. But what happened in the first activity? There was an eye involved of the child which was able to see that steam, right? Eye acts like a sensor. Then that data went into the brain through the veins that act like an internet, and then brain acts like a compute engine which process that information. It will also store that information somewhere in your brain, right? Because we all have memory, right? We can all recollect things from the past. And then it will take you to make some action. Reflex, basically, right? We call it reflex, human reflex. So if you look at IoT, it is the same thing. There are devices, there are sensors, there are cameras, there are gateways, there are machines. Okay, on the shop floor, there is our car, automotive. We all have heard about MG Hector ADAS, Internet Inside, right? So I think if you see in the global world, what is happening is people are saying that if I can monitor my operations remotely, okay, my business remotely, then that helps me a lot. And COVID really changed that perspective that I can't run my factories because I can't go to the factory in a situation like COVID, right? So can I monitor my factory remotely? Can I monitor my warehouse remotely? Can I monitor my retail store remotely? My house remotely? Everything possibly, right? So that's how I think in 2012 I thought this is going to be unique. And then when I was deciding to come back to India and join the program in 2014, I picked up some concepts in smart building technology and I wrote a paper here. I published that paper as well in Tatva magazine. And then 2016-17, I really thought, I think this is the field that I want to build my career, AI and IoT. Then gradually, I started that community around that time frame. I started meeting a lot of people, networking. I was working for Bharti Airtel that time. I was running their new business for M2M SIM cards. They were selling M2M SIM cards in vehicles for tracking the vehicle with the connectivity on 2G or a 4G signal. And then, of course, 2019 late, I started writing this book. Unfortunately, my father passed away in 21, and then that time I slowed down. Then again, I was planning to launch. I started writing back again. 23, then my mother passed away last year. But then I thought, I think I should complete something. And then this year I launched in Jan 2024. Now, I think so far, close to 180 copies are sold. And people are liking it. I'm very happy. But let me just take you through quickly that why this book is important. Of course, I dedicate my book to my parents. And this is the concept that my dad taught me from my childhood. And he was a voracious reader of books. He used to write, he used to read Dan Brown, John Grisham, and all those books. And he used to tell me the reading book is the best thing that can happen to you, Vinay, if you pick it up. I picked up that habit early on. And he taught me these three very important principles. Always strive to learn something new. Okay. When you learn something new, learn it so well that you can apply it to a particular use case, an application or problem. And if you have done it really well, then share that knowledge with the world. That's what at least I thought that I know IoT and AI really well. So maybe then I should write something on it. That's how the story started. But yeah, of course, it would not have been possible with the countless hours I stole from my family, two of my kids and my wife, that I stole a lot of time from them. So it's a hard thing to write a book. It takes a lot of time, energy, and investment in terms of understanding what your reader would want to read. Of course, this is my first book, so I'm not saying I'm an expert in writing book at all here. But I think it taught me a lot while writing the book. So you might always think that AI and IoT is good. I understand it is really going to change what is happening around me. But why should I even bother reading a book like this, right? So one term that I came across, which I was researching during that day by McKinsey and IDC, that the total impact a technology like AIoT can have, okay, globally, is approximately $4 trillion. That's a very, very large number. Does one of you know what is the valuation of NVIDIA today? If somebody invests in stocks or follow the market, AI company, correct? So about 3 point some trillion. Of course, maybe it is, people say it is overvalued and it might correct itself to a certain number. Maybe let's say it will go to 2.5-ish, 2. But still, if you look at it, is larger than the economy of many, many countries across the world, right? So NVIDIA understood this, that if I don't put AI in any chip, right, or in any server, it will not basically change my future forecast. NVIDIA was not doing well for a very long time. But then when it launched some of the chips early on, many years back, and then today they are bigger than Intel, right? Intel is like considered to be the god of microprocessor chipsets, right? At least in the early days, not today, I would say. So this is the impact that AIoT can bring. And this is a market size that people say that in 2023, roughly this market of AI and IoT combined was $35 billion. But it is projected to grow at a compounded rate of 32% year on year. And by 2030, or maybe somewhere after that, it will touch $250 billion. Now, you may say, is this really true? But let me tell you, like when I see the number of applications adopting AIoT in the last 8-9 years, it has grown really, really well. Earlier, it was mostly, let's say I used to see in automotive, some application. I used to see some industries application and maybe some here and there. But today, if I see at least close to 12 industries are adopting it well, I have a slide on that. But I think the question that should come in our mind anytime that we promote any technology is whether it is a hype or whether it is a reality, correct? Like if you go 5 years back and look at the NVIDIA valuation, people used to think that you're wasting your time in building a server which will be completely AI ready server, right? But today with large language model and generative AI and chat GPT of the time, right? Where everything an AI can do for you, you need this kind of servers, and you need servers that can run AI processes in a more efficient way. So if I look at this data from Gartner and IDC from 2019 and 18, they used to say that at least 88% of the companies or enterprises believe that IoT is useful for them, but only 20% of proof of concept scale. So that's a big gap, correct? Hype and reality. This is 2018-19. But if you see today, 2024, of course, I think they will come out with a report next year, IDC. This proportion should have ideally changed. It should be probably 60-40, I think. 40% of POCs are scaling today, okay? And not just in India, globally. But if you look at India also, what India will do in the next 5 to 8 years, especially according to me, especially in manufacturing industry, which wants to compete with China, right? And become the global manufacturing hub for the world. If it has to, we have to adopt technology to reduce our cost, become more efficient, more faster, right? And high quality conscious, right? These 4 things can only enable if you can use technology efficiently well in your factories. I'm not saying that replace jobs, okay? Of course, you need people to run your factories, but you need people to use technology in combination to run the setup more efficiently, okay? So again, I was saying this, right? If you look at these 5 sectors, right? Manufacturing, infrastructure, healthcare, retail, BFSI, and automotive. At least these are some of the larger sectors that have adopted the use cases in IoT quite well. And this is what I've written in my book. I have included around 18 case studies. I just want to rephrase. There is a quiz at the end. There are 5 questions in the quiz. People who are in the top 5 will get 5 free books. So listen to my numbers very well, please. Okay. Of course, the book is not very expensive. But anyway, free is free still, right? So this use case says that in this industries, if you look at, right, 31.3% is roughly between manufacturing. That's the largest share, right? But of course, infrastructure, healthcare, retail are also growing. And if you look at the blue, right, the blue chart here, this is infrastructure basically, right? Infrastructure means any infra that I want to monitor remotely. I just gave an example, right? Monitor my retail store remotely, monitor my warehouse remotely, or anything like that, right? So if you see, I think from a practical standpoint, this technology has become cheaper in the last 10 years. Okay, the cost of chip, the cost of sensors have gone down drastically. The cost of internet has gone down drastically, and the speed has gone up by almost 5 times. And the application of AI has become more and more available to most of us, right? Look at the startup ecosystem evolving. And because I'm an angel investor, I keep in touch with a lot of startups as well to understand what they are thinking, what they are doing. Okay? So this is another basically in a graph that I wanted to show that when you look at the global AI IoT market, artificial intelligence of things, right? Where the things are intelligent because they're connected to the internet and they can sense the data through sensors. The application by 2022, if you look at this one, right? Video surveillance, this 27.1%. This is very, very high. And China is one of the biggest contributor here. China uses camera almost every inch of square kilometer. There should be at least 100 cameras there. I worked in Lenovo for some time and I've been in Beijing, Shanghai, and I've seen how they monitor you. Starting from the time you land in the airport, wherever you see, you'll see a camera. If your eye can understand the lens properly. But of course, robots asset management. This is what COVID actually made possible. That COVID thought that I cannot monitor my asset remotely, right? I need to monitor it in a robust way, remote way. Then inventory management. Then of course, energy consumption, predictive maintenance, real-time machinery condition monitoring, and supply chain. So all of these, if you combine together, what India need to become in the next, if we are projecting to be a $40 trillion in maybe 5, 8, 10 years, whatever, right? We will have to adopt this technology. I'm not even talking about US and Europe and other developed markets or the upcoming markets like China or Vietnam, Thailand. I've traveled almost 26 places where I've seen different applications, and some of the case studies I've wrote, I've been there and I've interviewed the people. Like there is one case study on smart cities, which is not in this list. I wrote a case study in Barcelona, which was one of the cities that was struggling few years back in their infrastructure. I will have that in the book. So I think now you got a sense that why you should read the book, or at least even forget about reading my book, read about AI, read about IoT, understand the impact of AI and IoT. Okay. What I did is when I wrote this book is that can I address only the technical people, or can I also write it in a way that people who are semi-technical or completely non-technical can make some sense out of it. So I divided my book into 4 sections. Okay. Section 1 is fundamentals. And this fundamentals talks about fundamentals of IoT, AI, and then AIoT in a very layman way. Okay, there are some technical concepts as well there, but the main idea is that can you understand the impact of this technology in a layman way? So section 1 can be read by anyone here. Okay, and on the live session, it is for all audience. Section 2 is a very deep dive into the building blocks of the technology architecture of AIoT stack. Okay, so you need to have some technical background to understand that section. Roughly 3 chapters, I would say. Okay, and then section 3 is data security and data privacy. So when you talk about anything connected to the internet, you can't say that you can't actually ignore something like data privacy, data security, and cyber security, right? I think we recently had a CrowdStrike incident. Everyone read about it, right? The whole world went down because of some small patch update that went wrong. So I think somebody in my office told me that he was in the hotel and hotel could not check in. The gates were not opening. They were connected to some application. So the bellman had to go to every gate and open it with some other kind of a key. This was a big hotel, 5-star. So I think if you talk about IoT or anything AI or anything that is sending the data to the network or the internet, you have to be very, very careful about how you protect your application. So what I did is I worked with an expert who has written some chapters. He's a contributor in my book. His name is Priyot. He was a CMO for Subex. Subex is one of the company that works in cybersecurity. So he has given me contribution in terms of telling about some case studies in cybersecurity. Okay. And then the last section, the meat, the section 4 is where I think a lot of you will find a lot of interest. I will cover that shortly. So I think I've covered this already verbally, that what are the outcomes that you will get by reading the book. One is, if you want to know the fundamentals of artificial intelligence and IoT, that is one. And I'm going to come out with a different version maybe in the next 3 months, where I will add something about AGI, artificial general intelligence, which is the precursor to generative AI. Maybe I will try to cover some concepts around that as an upgrade to the book, because some of my readers are asking me that you should mention some application or case studies of generative AI in combination with IoT, not standalone, because this is marriage made in heaven. So I can't talk about AI alone, right? So learning the fundamentals, understanding the digital ecosystem. This is, I think, important for everyone trying to build a career. I have a slide on that, that why you should think of reading and understanding the concepts, and then where can you play a role if you go into the profession or you want to start up. Okay. Third is, there are a lot of jargons that people use in IoT, M2M, I think machine to machine, right? So there are other jargons which are terms which I have included as acronyms in the book as well. And then data security and privacy. But this last thing is actually the main masala. Let me cover that shortly. Okay. So when we talk about this, right, digital ecosystem, if you look at two ecosystem at the bottom in IoT, right? One is, every AIoT application needs some kind of a device or a hardware, okay, which could be a camera, it could be a sensor, it could be a PLC, it could be a SCADA, it could be a logic controller, it could be a machinery, it could be my car, my TV, my refrigerator, my oven, correct? They all are devices, they all are objects, hardware. So the one ecosystem that is very important for this technology to build is device makers and device resellers and hardware programmers, right? So if I see my last 4.5 year experience, this industry is changing very rapidly. I was hired to bring a different perspective into manufacturing industry. I did not come from manufacturing before my last experience at Napino Automotive. I was mostly in Lenovo, Airtel and Goldman, right? Mostly technology, building programs. But then I realized that they want to bring people who can actually start working with the programmers and the device maker and come out with some innovation in the market. So if you are from electronics or electrical background, and if you have an interest to build innovative edge intelligent hardware, right? Anyone knows what does edge intelligence means? When I say edge intelligent device? Exactly. So you don't send the data to the cloud or to a remote server. You take the decision at the device itself. It's like camera monitoring the vandalism in an ATM machine, for example, right? If something is going wrong, I need to alert the police immediately. The security guard sitting in the ATM immediately. Can I wait for the full video to be uploaded? Maybe the internet is very fast, but can I make the decision in the camera and alert in a matter of microseconds or milliseconds, right? That is time critical, mission critical. Think of an airplane, right? An airplane flying, it has to make all the decision inside the airplane when it is flying, right? So, and there are close to, I think, 3.1 million sensors in a typical Airbus. And I have a case study on Bombardier in my book, where I've spoken about how they use IoT and AI in a cockpit. Okay. So the first one is device, then second is connectivity makers, right? Who are the connectivity players? Telecom companies, right? Or people building protocols. So telecom companies are also selling technology to connect the device to the network. So that is second. Then the third, and I think the important ecosystem that brings the value to the whole application are these 4 blocks here. One is solution provider, any company building a software platform. Okay. Second, system integrator, TCS, IBM, Cognizant, HCL, all are actually now servicing the customers in this domain nowadays. Then data scientist and domain expert. See, if I want to apply a technology to a retail store, I need an understanding of how the retail store works. What are the applications there? What are the use cases? What are the challenges? If somebody comes and tells me at my company Nash Industries that, hey, I have a solution for your inventory tracking, but a solution alone will not work. They need to understand my entire journey of how I manage inventory from the incoming raw material to the finished good, right? They need to know and understand how does my machine works to a certain level, not in depth. Okay, because I do steel stamping, I do electronics assembly, I manufacture ATM. By the way, 85% of ATM in India are manufactured by my company. Next time you withdraw cash, it will be most likely manufactured by Natch. We don't withdraw cash today's in today's world, I think. But just making a statement here that I think it is important to understand that domain expert and data scientist, these are the two important players, right? People from MBA program like us, right? I think if we understand technology and management principle and we bring some expertise, oil and gas, okay, or defense or any other area, that becomes a very important role as a consultant to this kind of company. And then go to market partners. And lastly, of course, the end users, the B2B companies who are consuming this whole application and who are paying you. They are your customer, your buyer, right? So this ecosystem is what I've explained in my section 1 and section 2 of the book, so that you kind of get an understanding that what role they play, what role I can play as an individual in this ecosystem if I'm interested, what kind of solution I can build for the market. Okay. So I think if you see from the bottom, right, the value that you provide to your end customer will start increasing as you go up the value chain of the ecosystem, right? A hardware maker will only make money on the hardware, right? One-time money, maybe some margin, correct? And the margins in manufacturing are between 10 to 12%, at the best 18 to 20%, right? But the moment you go up, right, a telecom player or a solution provider, you start making more money because you start adding more value, right? But at the same time, you have to remember the complexity increases. For me to make a camera, I just make a camera and make 1 million of camera and I will sell it to my ATM customer, right? Correct? Easy. But for somebody at that level in the this layer, they have to understand the use case, the application, the problem statement, and then probably build a solution and most likely sell like a SaaS model, right? But these 3 supporting ecosystems are also important, which I try to explain in my book, that what role a government should play, regulators should play, innovation hubs and or you can say research bodies and standard bodies, right? So like organizations like MIT, NASSCOM, CII, and so on in India, they play an important role to support the upcoming challenges in this ecosystem, set the policy. There is a privacy bill that is now launched in India, India Data Privacy Bill, IDP, right? Which is also modeled on the European standards. Okay. So I think the what I want to basically leave you with is that when you look at understanding this ecosystem and this technology, AI and IoT, you need to also first understand that where is the application going to be. And if I look at globally, one of the industry that is adopting IoT very fast and AI very fast is smart agriculture or agriculture, let's say. I was surprised earlier that how many companies are there in India alone who are providing solution, and many of them are now funded. One of them is called as Philo, FILLO. There is a case study. They do a weather monitoring station along with a sensor for the soil quality check. So they have a sensor that goes in the soil. It checks the humidity and some other parameter of the soil, moisture, etc. And there is a weather station that actually also looks at the weather pattern. And combining the two, it gives the output to the farmer in the local language on a mobile app to take action. So what I've done is I basically, when I was in US for one of my purpose, I actually met this farming community that works on avocado farming. It's in California, towards Berkeley, and they were showing some application of using some sensors for monitoring the amount of water consumed to grow an avocado. Okay, now avocados are grown in India, by the way. That's why they're cheaper now compared to earlier. So, but they consume a lot of water. To grow one avocado fruit, the amount of water required is humongous. It's like the rice, right? So this person, they gave me a complete understanding of how they slashed the consumption of water by almost 75% in the farm. So that is one. Second is smart grape farming. So this is actually that use case by Philo. So now they supply their hardware and their application with the mobile app to a lot of farmers in the Nasik area for the grape farming. Okay. So the grape cultivation also is not easy. There is a cost to it from the time you start the process. And they basically use their technology, Philo's technology, to reduce the cost of cultivation by almost 30%. And it's a proven number. There is a customer testimonial also. Okay. I think there is one pointing case. It's not a very detailed case study, but I thought that drones are growing, and computer vision, which is a camera in the drone, it will map the farm and it will create a heat map of the farm. Based on some kind of pattern on the farmland, it generates you a quality map of the farm. That where is the red area, where is the blue area. Red means even if you sow there, the output might be lesser. And some other area things that they want to check, right? So there is a small snippet about use of drone and CV. Smart cities, I mentioned about Barcelona. I think you should read this. Even if you don't read my book, go online. There is a lot of material around this. And they actually model their entire city infrastructure to say, can I change my management of the water in the city? One. Second is usage of the parking lots. Barcelona gets a lot of visitors as tourists. And there are a lot of conferences that happens there every year. So they wanted some kind of a way that can I upgrade the infra of Barcelona? This was a time when there was less jobs. The city was actually under debt, and they started adopting the technology. It took almost 3.5 years to build that use case. They ended up creating 47,000 jobs for the local people. Then public transportation, that is another use case, and waste management. This is for Bhopal. So IBM and Airtel did a use case in Bhopal for collection of the waste from each houses using a simple combination of RFID tag that is attached to every house, and that van that will come to collect your garbage. After it collects the garbage, they are allowed to scan the RFID tag. Okay. So the problem statement was the garbage is not collected on time. Okay, simple. The municipality said, even though my van is going every day, where they are not collecting. So if you are a consumer or a house owner, you can complain if they don't come and collect it. After they collect, only then they can come and scan the RFID tag. So that will update the data to the central administration body. Okay. Then there are two case studies. One is on Black & Decker's manufacturing excellence. There is a concept now called as lighthouse factories. If somebody is interested in manufacturing, they should read. It's a study done by World Economic Forum and IDC together to just identify some factories in the world which has adopted Industry 4.0 really, really well. Okay, really well means almost 90% of the operations are using technology and automation. So this lighthouse factory, and one of that lighthouse factory is the Black & Decker factory. Then I have written one case study about quality control of manufactured goods. It is actually, I think, an India case study. Then I have written two case studies on computer vision as well. I think this is a wonderful technology. It is not done properly in some applications and use cases, but these two case study, one is the face recognition. Second is electronic PCB inspection. So when you manufacture any electronic product, you mount a lot of component on a PCB, printed circuit board. But if the product is not mounted properly or the soldering is not done properly, there will be a defect. So there is something called as AOI, automated optical inspection. It's a combination of camera, scanning it and comparing it with the master sample and checking whether the mounting is done properly if there is an incorrect mounting. Then there is one small case study I've done on appliance monitoring, saving around 30% of the electricity bill. This is for a startup in India that actually implemented some use case in Delhi, where they were realizing that somebody was using a motion sensor to start and turn off the light, okay, in the kitchen. So he did a case study where he went to some of the homes and started monitoring the consumption of electricity in every appliance, ceiling fan, air condition, chimney and some other area, and the kitchen lights. Then he built a graph of which lights are used mostly and which consume the most power. What they realized is because of the motion sensor, the light was getting turned on even during the daytime between 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. So what they did is very simple. They put a lux sensor. It's called as a luminosity sensor in certain area to check how much light is coming from the window. And based on that, the motion sensor will not activate the light when there is enough light, ambient light. Simple idea. Okay, very, very simple use case. No internet here, only local Wi-Fi basically. Okay. Aircraft health monitoring, I was fortunate to work in a company which was doing some work for Bombardier. And that time I understood that how airline industry works. So I went to Airbus office in France. I looked at their warehouses, their setup, and then when I was looking at the case study in terms of what aircraft industry is thinking about technology, I came across this application of IoT and AI. Not AI, you can call this analytics, IoT and analytics that time in Bombardier. Very interesting, you should read. This is a case study from Kerala on a biscuit brand that increased that sale by using a robot. A very simple robot. Again, this is a startup, not a big company yet. It's called Astrotech. They are based in Kerala. They are part of the Kerala Startup Mission. So they made a robot which is now in Lulu hyper malls in Middle East. Very simple application. The idea is that when you go to a shelf and see 100 brands, you're likely to buy a Parle G or a Monaco or whatever your favorite. But what happened is when there are some new launches, if they are in the center of the aisle, also the human eye will miss it. So the robot does something very simple. On the shelf, it will move the product out, a sample product, with a light and a local language, it will tell you about the product. Okay. So when you're crossing, you'll see a new biscuit ABC has been launched, which is coconut biscuit with this thing. Do people follow Label Padega India? Does anyone follow that momentum, Label Padega India? Right. So now that's a big moment, Label Padega India. And I now, whenever I buy something, I read the label first. So what this product also, this company also do is they talk about the content. They will tell you there is only so much of sugar, so much of carbs, and maybe this kind of a thing. So it tells that value to you as a consumer when you're passing the aisle. So it uses the motion sensor. Interesting one. But it's still a startup. I think they're growing, they're raising a fund recently. The last two is, I think blockchain was something that I was learning and understanding. I don't know a lot about blockchain, honestly. But there are two case studies that one of my contributors has written, Sudhanshu Sharma. He is a practitioner in this area. So he wrote these two case studies. One is use of IoT and blockchain energy meters, and one is in supply chain. Okay. And then there are three case studies on cyber security also that Prayog wrote. One is in the geopolitical event of a cyber attack in a cricket match. Another is around some colonial pipeline cyber attack in Europe. And there is last one on some insider threat. Okay. So I think that's kind of the summary of my book overall. Some more slides are there, not important. I think we're almost touching the time as well. But I think my only suggestion is that if you're serious about going into this world, building a career, then read a lot of books. Okay, not just mine, but read a lot of books. I read a lot of books. The Amazon Way of IoT is one book which I really liked, written some time back. There is a practitioner in the US that also has written two books. I will recommend the name. So all of you can benefit. Students definitely yes. Junior professionals who are trying to move into their next stage of a career. And people who are in the buy side and the sell side. So if you are a professional or wanting to go into industry that will adopt the technology, you should know what the technology can do for you, right? Because in today's world, you are not just a salesperson or you're not just a technologist, right? I was telling someone earlier, a technologist need to be a salesperson nowadays, and a salesperson need to know the technology, right? The world is converging, it's coming together. That's why the title is Confluence of AI and IoT. And I feel it's a marriage made in heaven because it's very, very powerful. So I think with that, the last two slides, I think this is the snapshot of my book on the Amazon. Right now I have 14 reviews here, few on Flipkart and few in Goodreads. I think now book is selling more in Kindle version in US and Europe markets. So I think I'm seeing that pick up thanks to IIMA. As well, I think once you started talking about this, I started promoting it to everyone else. So it's picking up. This is my first promotion about the book. I didn't get time because I just joined Nash November last year. So when I got the time, I'm here. No better than my alma mater to talk about it. So my book forward is written by Miss Harmeen Mehta. She is the Chief Digital and Information Officer of British Telecom. She was earlier the CIO of Bharti Airtel. She is one of the top 10 followed lady in the technology domain. You can look her up. I think she is also my mentor because when I joined Airtel, I told her my passion about IoT. She said, okay, Vinay, let's do this in Airtel and then let's see how it goes. So And something that only heard a few days back is that when you go on Google and search best book on IoT and AI, I show up in the first page and the fourth section of the popular. I don't know why, because I only sold 180. I'm just boasting. But if you now search book on IoT and AI, also I show up on the second or the first page. Hopefully in the future, when somebody search book on AI, I should be there. I don't show up in that Google search ranking. So I think that ranking is also increasing nowadays. Again, this book I have made from a purpose of educating. So whatever price I sell, this is the price that publisher has set. Honestly, that's why the book that you will buy here today will be only 200 rupees, because that's the price that goes to the publisher. He charges me 198 rupees for every book that he prints for me. So my intention is not to make money. I think with God grace, enough is there. It is only to promote the use of this application, this technology. And trust me, I trusted this technology 10 years back, and I think I'm reaping the benefit today. And I think in the next 5-10 years, this is going to really become great. So with that, we'll enter into the quiz quickly. But again, just want to reiterate, there is a raffle for free 5 giveaway, but I have another 10 or 12 copies to sell at 200 rupees today. Additionally, if you want to buy it later, you can buy it either on Notion Press using this coupon, Build Knowledge. It is, I think, 25% discount. Now, right now, Amazon is running a 10% discount on Amazon directly. 301 rupees, I think today I saw. It was 305 yesterday. On Kindle, it is free if you are having Kindle Unlimited. But if you want to buy, it's 249. Okay. So that's the QR code you can scan. I'm open to questions before we go into the quiz here. Thank you so much for your time. Any questions? Feel free to ask. Thank you. Yeah.
One use case regarding collection and monitoring it through RFID, that is the garbage collected.
Yeah.
One of my friends, his family are setting up an internal manufacturing plant.
Yeah.
So they have a lot of collection for molasses and
Right.
organic waste.
Yeah.
Can we do something such that we give all the farmers who they collect
Yeah.
the same RFID?
Yeah.
But attach something so that we know how much weight that particular farmer is dealing, because here you have to do payments.
Okay. So you're saying you want to monitor the weight of the molasses?
By that, we can just give the farmer payment at the end of the month rather than every time we get.
Okay. I think it should be easy. I need to understand more. We can talk offline, but the idea should be that if you correct. Yeah. Of course, yeah, weighing machine is required to weigh something that has to be there. But if you want to monitor it on a weigh scale which is connected to your app or something, where you can automatically pay the farmer every month, that should be very straightforward. It's not I don't think weigh machines are very costly these days. So there is a weigh machine by Osram or someone that comes with connectivity to Bluetooth, if I'm correct. You can look it up. Yeah. Can I just my phone? Yeah. Sorry.
Raw material, agri raw material.
Okay.
And then using third party OEMs to do some value addition, make a package. Where do you think is the supply chain from procuring to manufacturing to supply, distribution,
For the
marketing? Everything best you.
See, what I have seen in the agriculture side, one is in the source quality check activity. Okay. Now, source means first you need to buy a seed or something, right? That you need to then plant. What I'm seeing is that IFCO, if you know IFCO, they basically launched a connected canister that can only control the amount of pesticides or fertilizer sprayed based on the type of the crop. That I remember. From the harvesting to the end consumer, right? There are so many players in between. Every player need to do two things. One is monitor the location of the raw material or the finished good or whatever produce it is. Second is monitor the quality. Like in milk supply chain, the most important is the temperature. And each of these machine vehicles, they basically now have some kind of an IoT to monitor and review it. Yeah. But yeah, we can talk more about it. Any other question? Yeah. No, there are. So that's why I said that I think that three important things for adoption of IoT to become really scalable. One is understanding of the technology in the buyer's mindset, right? When you go to an customer, right, who even don't understand that whether I need this technology. The first is identification of the need, whether I need IoT. And of course, IoT will not work in every use case. Okay, it doesn't mean that you have to fit it, force fit it. One is that. Second is, of course, the affordability, the cost of the entire solution. And third is the security part of it. I think a lot of industries today, they say that, hey, should I move off cloud and become build my application on prime, right, on the server? Because everything in the cloud could be subject to something that happened with Microsoft. So if these three are well done, then I think this technology should scale. But whenever you go to a new application or a new use case, there is a life cycle of maturity, right? We know the crossing the chasm part, right? So it takes time for the technology to stabilize. I think from that perspective, it is quite stable now. Okay. Gujarat doing IoT. I have to remember and recollect. It has to be there, I'm sure. But I'm not, it's not coming to my mind right now. Okay. Can I take a photo, a selfie with all of you, if you don't mind? Okay. Sorry. I don't know. It's not coming. Huh?
Smart Government of India's smart city program.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah. Is this visible? I think, I don't know. Thank you. Okay. Right. So India government launched the smart city programs some time back. And yeah. And if I'm correct, this year there are some budget also allocated to some applications. Specifically, one is in the infrastructure monitoring, and second is in the security side of it.
Policy 2020, but it has something related to artificial intelligence and
So the courses are getting introduced now in the primary level as well. You're right. Yeah. People talk about a lot of misuse of IoT also. Yeah. So there was an attack in the grid in US, right? When the electricity went down in the East Coast, they claimed that it was from a China side, but China was able to attack that grid because it was connected to the internet. In fact, there was one application where one case study where I read that a casino was hacked from a fish tank. The fish tank was connected to the internet so that they can monitor the health of the fish and how much to feed. But the fish tank had a router or a gateway where it had a default password. So the hacker was able to hack into that router. From there, it was connected. The router was connected to the network of the casino. So from there, he got access into the casino, and then he hacked the casino. Yeah. Innovative people can do anything, right? Any other questions? Okay. So can I stop share and run Kahoot? Yeah. So I'm going to नहीं YouTube पे जरूरत नहीं है because people here only will play. You all have your mobile phone, right, with you. So it's a simple quiz. I will ask you to go to KAHOOT, Kahoot, KAHOOT. It's right there. .it. Okay. And when I will start, it will give you a code. So just go to the web browser and type KAHOOT, Kahoot.it. I as in internet, T as in things. Okay. It's a 5 questions only, 10 seconds for each question. Very simple. If you heard what I was saying throughout my presentation, all the answers are there. I think only 40 player can participate. I think you are 40 probably, or less than 40, right? So once you go to this site, kahoot.it, right? You have to enter this pin 559447. Okay. It should ask you for the game pin. Just enter 559447. Twenty have entered. Yeah, we are less than 40, I think. I'll give another 30 seconds. Should I start now? Everyone is there? Okay. Good. Oh. If your internet is slow, then you lose. It's slow? Oh my goodness, sorry. Oh, clearly, oh my goodness, so sorry about that. So who left? Who are not able to join? Oh, quite a few of you. I thought it will allow 40. Maybe okay. How many are there who are not able to join? Around 7 or 8 of you. Okay, let's do one thing. We'll run 2 rounds then quickly. Okay. So the first people who have taken part in the first round, don't do it. Okay. I'm starting now. I know it said 40 to me, so my apologies about that. So the question will come here and you have to just click one of this color. What does T in IoT stands? What does T in IoT stands? Things, transportation, things or technology? The people who will come in the second round, you are not unlucky. You will know the answers. You just have to click fast. Huh? Okay, cool. So it's things, Internet of Things. Okay. Nitish Singh right now leads. My book presents how many case studies in total? I mentioned that 15, 16, 17 or 18. I mentioned in my presentation that total, remember, my book says 15 plus case studies. Huh? So the answer is 18, 15 and 3 in cybersecurity, right? Suku. Who is Suku? Okay, awesome. The next question, it's a true or false question, very simple. The word gen in Gen AI is generative, true or false? It don't help, huh? Anyone? Huh? Okay. Okay. Last question, I think 2 more questions. The economic impact of AI and IoT. It was in one of my slides. 3 trillion, 4 trillion, 4 billion, 400 billion. Hey, sorry, don't help each other. Oh, you're not participating. Oh, sorry. Okay, the last true and false. The discount available today to buy my book. Here. True or false? 40%. Okay. I think we'll do one more round. So who did not participate, please do it this time. Okay, the question remains the same and now it's the speed. So, okay, can you just identify yourself? Sukhu. Okay, who's second? Vaishnavi. Okay, 1, 2. Who's 3? Nitish. Okay, Nitish, Vaishnavi, Sukhu. Can somebody remember the names? Okay. So I think I have to play again. So this time only people who did not participate, please join. A rest can join, but will not be. Yeah, 1 second. Yeah, unfortunately, otherwise I have to make a new quiz, which will take time, and I have to catch a flight. I'll try to just host live this once again. So the pin might change, I think, this time. Kahoot.it. Please, if you participate, don't participate, so that the rest who could not earlier can now. Pin is 521814. Maybe this time I will just skip the questions faster. Okay. So we have 3 names. We'll need 2 more from this new batch. Oh, 20 again. Did everyone like who were not earlier able to join are able to join now? Sorry, your bad luck. No worries. You can buy my book an extra discount. Don't worry, I will give it. So we are starting. I will skip this time faster. Huh? Okay. So you'll get lesser time. Book presents how many case studies? The Gen in Gen AI. And the last. Economic impact. Discount available today. Okay. Should get the leaderboard. You. Who is? Oh my. Jairaj. Okay. And Bhavesh. Who's Bhavesh? Bhavesh. You're from library, right? Okay, Bhavesh, Jairaj, and you. Okay, maybe all three of you can get it. Thank you so much. But any questions are welcome. I'm sorry, but because of this goof up, but I hope this was useful for you. I think I will be giving 6 books. If you have the name.
Yes.
Do we need to do any closing things? Sir? Yeah. Okay, please. Just 1 second. I think. Sir.
Last slide जो
Now, so much.
last slide था ना मैं slide कोड में वो डाल सकता हूँ.
Thank you so much, Vikram, for your valuable time.
Yeah.
The session was very interesting. I hope everyone gets good knowledge of IoT, and your case study was very mind blowing. And let's give a small memento from our library site. I request Deputy Librarian Hiral Madam. Please, sir.
Thank you so
This side. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And we have arranged
Yeah.
tea outside the.
Sure.
So I announced the.
Yeah.
The first is Nitish. So please come, Nitish.
Sir, you have a pen?
Huh.
Thank you so much, Nitish. Yeah.
Vaishnavi.
Thank you. Please share your feedback on Amazon. Huh?
And
Yeah.
Sukru.
Please. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Suku, right?
Sukanya.
No, I'm just signing.
Doris.
Thank you very much.
And you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Please, whoever is taking the book, please, if you like it, leave your feedback on Amazon. Yeah.
And Jairaj.
Jairaj. Yeah, sure. Oh, yeah, sure. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. You want to buy? Office. Okay.
So thank you all for attending this book talk. Please join us outside the class.
Thank you. I'll sign.